Basically take my dirty shirt and recycle it. And I'm like, no, that's not how it all works here. So over the years, the technology has gone forward and evolved. And so what we have here, we're going to talk about it, is some unique fabrics are out there at the technology, the performance side of things. And so with that, I'll invite our next speaker, David from Cotton.
Thanks. Hey everyone, how's everybody doing? I'm going to continue the string of maybe strange accents from North Carolina, so you may pick up on a little southern twinge. No bathroom jokes, I've heard that all week, so if you don't know what that's a reference to, don't ask. As Mark said, introduced me, my name is David Early, and I'm the Senior Director of Marketing at Cotton Incorporated. Some of you in the industry may know the company, you may have kind of heard of us or heard about maybe some of the commercials that we do, the Fabric of Our Lives commercials that you see on TV, that sort of thing. That's who we are, but you may not know all the different things that we're involved in and some of the resources that may be available to all of you out in the industry. We're an interesting organization, I guess, and an interesting business model in that we are not directly involved in selling cotton directly. Cotton is actually traded as a commodity. You may be aware of that. The mills around the world that buy the cotton, they buy it through merchants. They don't buy it from Cotton Incorporated. It's kind of a misperception of who Cotton Incorporated is. But as we go through, I'll kind of explain more about who we are as an organization and some of the resources. But our mission really, we've been around since 1971 was when the company was founded. And our mission is to increase the demand for and profitability of cotton. And we do that through an integrated program of research and promotion. One of the things, obviously, the tagline that I just mentioned a minute ago, the fabric of our lives, you may be familiar with us from that perspective, from the consumer side. You've probably seen the commercials on TV. Many of you are probably in the demographic that we're actually targeting. Typically females 18 to 34 years old. And you guys as 18 to 34-year-old females, you are the primary shoppers. You're the ones that are out there buying the clothing, so that's why we target you with our advertising message. The other thing that we do, or the other divisions of the company, are really things that focus on the fiber end of the business, on the producer side of the business. So we do represent the U.S. cotton farmers, and we do a lot of things within our company that focus on the production side of the business, as well as on the consumer side. That's where you're familiar with us through the Fabric of Our Lives that I mentioned. And then my division is focused really on the textile supply chain. So focusing on from the mills, manufacturers, all the way through to the brands and retailers. And what we try to do is influence you guys as brands and retailers, or maybe even manufacturers, to use cotton. That's where we're trying to stimulate the use of cotton and indirectly influence the sale of cotton. And this kind of shows obviously the textile supply chain, starting all the way at the left end, the yarn spinning mills. We try to influence them, the weavers, the knitters, the dyeing and finishing companies, the garment manufacturers that we work with as well. And obviously all of these components make up vertically integrated companies, which we do work with. More and more we're getting involved with individual designers, doing collaborations with designers, trading companies, if you think of like a Li and Feng company like that, as well as apparel brands and retailers. And really what we're trying to do through all the different resources that we have, if you look at some of the different things there, technical service, fabric developments, which we'll talk more about, our technology innovations that Mark referenced, color and trend information, our educational resources, all of these things are things that we do within Cotton Incorporated, and we try to hit all levels of the supply chain. So we're trying to push ideas through at the mill and manufacturer level, while at the same time we're trying to pull those ideas through with the brands and retailers. So showing ideas to all ends of the supply chain there. One of the resources that I really wanted to highlight, and we have these in our booth, we're actually exhibiting downstairs in B19. I encourage you to come by if you have time this afternoon. One of the key resources that we are featuring here at the show is something called Fabricast. We've been doing this for a long time. The name kind of implies fabric forecast. And this is something that we do and develop in our labs in North Carolina. We have a great lab that involves yarn spinning, knitting, weaving, dyeing, and finishing. So we can bring in a bale of cotton, we convert it into a finished fabric product within our own labs. These fabric ideas that we create are again meant to inspire the industry. We show you new ways, new ideas that you can use cotton in your products. All of these fabrics are going to have some kind of individual characteristic to them. You know, we're trying to show you how you can use cotton in not just a basic jersey or a basic fleece type of product, but something beyond that. And if you look at some of the products here, these are some of the individual fabrics that we've actually created. Highlight a few of those and tell you kind of some of the stories behind them. This is a concept that we've been doing quite a bit with. This is called cationic treated cotton. Many companies that we work with and talk to, they're looking for an environmental story, an environmental angle around maybe dyeing processes, or does it represent some kind of sustainable innovation? This is something that where you treat cotton with a pre-treatment that allows it to be dyed using less water, less dye overall. You're not using salt in the dye bath, that sort of thing, so it does represent a very environmentally friendly dye process for cotton. So we develop many fabrics that utilize this technology. This is one example, and we have many, many more down in our booth. We're also doing quite a bit where companies are looking for things for like activewear, this athleisure trend as it continues to evolve, looking for things that are ventilating, that work and act like synthetics. We've been able to create some really great knit structures, not something that you might typically see, but we create these things to go into the Fabricast line. This is a jacquard knit that we call our Spada knit, and you can see the open areas that give you the ventilation in the cotton fabric. Another example, some cotton polyester 3 and French terry fabrics. This is taking, again, a basic fleece and evolving into something different. But with this, we've been able to do some different dyeing techniques. So you can either, from one fabric, you might dye it in different ways. So in some of these, you may dye the polyester component. Some you may dye the cotton component, but you can get different looks all from a common single source fabric. So this is what this represents. We also do quite a bit in terms of industry collaborations. We may not always create the fabric ideas or the technology for cotton, but we work with many companies that if they're creating ideas like the genealogy laser finishing technology, we might utilize that technology in some way to show what you can do with cotton. Is anybody familiar with the genealogy? Is anybody familiar with this? They introduced this several years ago. The idea was that it was for laser finishing denim. So you get the wash effects, the distressing, the whiskering effects on denim by doing that with a laser. You burn the effect into the jeans instead of doing all the hand sanding or sandblasting and abrasion that you might normally do. We actually acquired one of these laser units. We have it in our lab now, not the exact one that you saw there in the photo, but we're actually looking at it now and looking at how you can take basic denim fabric and do something completely different with it. We're actually burning holes into the fabric, so you get this all-over effect, not just on the denim jeans themselves, but you can actually do interesting looks to the fabric. Also some things like this, where it almost creates a chenille-like effect on the surface of the fabric. And this is a basic bull denim fabric that we've kind of etched with the laser, give you these different pattern effects in the fabric. If I show you this photo, obviously we're doing a lot with the activewear and athleisure category. If I show you this photo, you would automatically think this is cotton. Both of these fabrics are predominantly cotton. We do quite a bit with blends as well. But you can see the fabric more close up. This is something we did on a fleece machine. Very interesting with a space-dyed yarn effect, with a unique knitting technique. You leave out the pile yarn in the back, and you get a very nice jersey structure that makes a nice midweight layer. Again, evolving just beyond the basic fleece type of fabric. And then the other fabric that was in that photo is it's a cotton poly blend, so you get a differential dyeing effect. And we've actually treated this with our storm cotton technology, and I'll explain more about what that is in just a moment. With all these, when we're trying to show you ideas, obviously in the fabrics, many of you are looking at, or you want to see like an end product, you want to see how the fabric was intended. So we've started creating these garment collections that we show the pieces and highlight some of these fabrics in. This is an example of some of the looks that we've done in our men's training collection. We have a lot of these pieces in our booth downstairs, as well as a women's yoga line. Again, featuring some of the more prominent and more interesting Fabricast fabrics that we've created. Again, another photo just showing you some of the things that we've done. This would ordinarily look like a synthetic outerwear type jacket. This is a cotton polyester blend, something that we did that has a unique dyeing effect when you dye it. Here's a close-up of the fabric, and this is also something that we've treated with our Storm Cotton technology. This was part of an outerwear collection that we did to feature some of these great fabrics that we've done. We've also started doing many insulative type fabrics, so creating things that are not just, like I said again, basic fleece, but we're doing more with like spacer developments, structural type knits that have interesting folds and ripples in the cotton fabric to give you an insulative capacity. With this new collection of insulating fabrics that we just recently released, we've found that some of these are actually more insulative than many of the synthetic Polartec type fleece products that are out in the market. We've been able to test those and verify that some of these are actually more insulative and warming than some of the synthetic products. And this is an example of one of them where it has it's a ruffle knit. It has layers that almost look like the gills of a mushroom, but all these layers sort of trap air and can give you a warming effect in the fabric. So again, taking some of these just basic, cotton fabrics, evolving them into something that you would normally expect from, or you would expect, cotton to be able to perform in this way. I mentioned our Storm Cotton technology. We have several great technologies that we've created and that we market and share with the industry. The Storm Cotton was sort of the original concept. We've taken that same thing and applied it to denim, rebranded it as Storm Denim, so you can do it on basic cotton fabrics or on denim, but it does give you a very durable water repellent finish. And we like to say that we've created a better mousetrap, if you will. Many of the DWR type finishes that you find on fabrics in the industry will typically wash off after maybe 10 to 20 washes. We get very high performance in very high repellency ratings out to 30 washes. We're still getting very high ratings of repellency after 30 washes, so it's a very robust finish. And this is something we work with mills around the world to train them how to run it. You then have a network of suppliers that you can go to if you wanted to adopt something like this and be able to work with them, and we can guide you to those mills that can offer that to you. We also have two moisture management technologies. One, it's a little bit of an older technology, but still very relevant. It's our wicking windows process. And this is actually a process of printing repellent areas onto the surface of a cotton fabric. So you're actually printing it onto the inside of the fabric. You're not printing color, but you're printing repellency onto the fabric. What that does when you wear that against your skin, it's going to make you feel drier. It's going to make the fabric feel drier. If you've had the experience, if you've worn a cotton t-shirt, just a basic cotton t-shirt, it's very wet, it sticks to your body. You've all had that experience. This greatly reduces that. We have a method where we can test and determine how much we're reducing that cling force to your body. So the wicking windows was originally designed to do that. The newer technology that we have, the moisture management technology, is the trans-dry. This is built around the idea, and this is a patented process, but we treat one of the component yarns in the fabric to be repellent. You do it in like a yarn dyeing type of process. And then when you construct the fabric, when you knit or weave the fabric, you blend it with a naturally absorbent cotton yarn. What that does is, if you can see at the bottom of the photo in that brochure, the green fabric, you can see lines that look like they're wet and dry. What that's actually doing is the absorbent yarns actually help channel that moisture more widely in the fabric, spread the moisture out where it can dry faster. And this, you can kind of see a close-up of the fabric as well. You can see the wet and dry yarns side by side in the structure of the fabric. And that little illustration shows how you would just knit it in an alternating arrangement. We do have, as I mentioned, we do have global suppliers that we work with.
Pt.3.
Hey everyone, how's it going? Good. How many of you guys make videos? How many of you guys make videos that actually help yourselves? About 3 or 4? That's pretty good. That's a lot better than normal. Video is one of those things that we all know we need it, but it's also hard, right? It's hard to make the right videos. And what I'm going to talk about today is really just talking about my suggestions to you to make videos that actually convert into sales by being authentic. I don't think this is going to work. Oh, it worked almost. Anyways, I just turned 40 Tuesday and I still skateboard every day. That's me doing a little Tuesday air. Yay, it worked. All right, I'm done. We work with some really, really big companies and some small companies. We have a lot of views and a lot of success under our belt. And all we do is YouTube, Facebook, and Instagram videos, strategy, things like that for our brands. What I really want to get to talk to you guys about today is authentic content and how we can take that you-ness, if you will, of your companies that you guys own and turn that into brand loyalty and eventually sales through the video platform. Do you guys know that Snapchat gets 10 billion views a day? How many people are in America, in the world? Like 8 or 7 billion? I mean, it's pretty insane. Just one platform gets more views a day than people exist on the planet. So I want to talk about nerd stuff, about how to find videos. One of the things we do worst is we actually all try to make these beautiful videos. Well, most people don't care about beautiful videos online. They actually want information. You know, they want to learn something. So there's a million ways. I want to really, really drive that home today. I want to talk about how we can make things that aren't the best thing you've ever seen in your life. Because let's face it, if that was your job, to make content that just people are like, oh, that's so cool all the time. You know, winning the lottery is not a business plan, and neither should be like making videos. I'm talking about distribution, which most of us just put a video up and they're like, let's wait for everyone to come watch our video. Communities, advertising, and actual conversion science on how you can track the results of what you do. I can talk to you about 10 years about why you guys should be making videos. How many people have like stores? How many people own their own company? Awesome, awesome. So this definitely applies across the board. I've got 2 million views for a barcode scanner company. So it really doesn't matter what you do, you know. And it was the #1 referral of physical sales for a barcode scanner. So video does work. Why does video work? For a lot of reasons. The biggest is information. You know, you can become trusted and you can actually tell a visual story. I'm not going to be talking about the things that are trending really awesome right now, like virtual reality and 360 and Snapchat and Facebook video and mobile video. Instead, I just want to talk about the non-shiny stuff that's going to hopefully help you guys, you know, develop a better brand that converts. So, authentic, you know, especially on YouTube, and I'm going to talk about YouTube a lot for a lot of different reasons, but ultimately with the big brands that I work with, YouTube by far is the best at converting money today. I don't think that's going to happen necessarily tomorrow, but right now YouTube is it's also the only searchable content information, you know, place. It's the second largest search engine in the world. So I want to talk about being you know, as a brand, right? Most of us get on video and we forget who we are. It's the weirdest thing. Most of the brands I work with are horrible at portraying who they are as a brand. And you know what? Having a really good looking person surfing or skating is awesome, but it doesn't necessarily convey a person that doesn't know who you are already. My favorite slide. You know, there's over 500 hours of video uploaded to YouTube every minute. 500 hours. So my suggestion to you is do not make videos because you need to make a video this week. Because you have a task to do. Because you know you need to make videos. You see where I'm going with this? You need to create content that people actually care about. That you would watch. If you're not going to watch the video you make, don't put it up there. The world does not need more crap. online. They really do. I can promise you that. So, being authentic is really, really important. But I think one of the things we forget when we're creating content, a lot of us just have this weird, hey, we have to make videos, let's go into crazy mode and hire someone, or it just gets really weird. Me having the ums and these and ahs, I'm gonna convey to you a lot better than me having my radio voice, saying, hey, listen to me. So being authentic is not just necessary in 2016, it's required. We all know that all the TV reality shows are 100% real and non-scripted. But on YouTube, a lot of it isn't scripted. It's actually real people. And I just spoke at VidCon last week, which is the largest YouTube conference, and it was just crazy, like how the only way I can describe VidCon, has anyone been to VidCon here? Cool, cool. So the only way I can describe it is a mix between Disneyland and like an Elvis concert. I don't know what to say there. It's so weird. But the reason it's so, I call it like the new punk rock too, because everyone has like the purple hair and the pink hair, and they have they're dressing like the way skaters or surfers or punk rock guys used to do back in the 90s, because they're authentic. They're trying to find something new, and the reason they watch those YouTubers is because those YouTubers are real people. They're not actors, they're not actresses. And the reason, a lot of the brands we work with have hundreds and hundreds of millions of views is because of this authentic voice. Now, the thing I want you to know is you don't have to make the next viral video to be authentic. It's not, as long as you have good audio and people can see eyes. Eyes are very important, the window to your soul. As long as people can see your eyes and people can hear you very, very well, that's all you need. It doesn't matter if you're on a GoPro or an iPhone, but you need to be actually making content. So here's an example of a video I would do for a fictitious skateboard company. Do you see the slide I just had was make content people want to see? The way I would start doing YouTube videos, for those of you that haven't really started yet, is I would figure out what people are actually searching for on YouTube specifically. And then from there, and I'm going to get into the nerd of how to do that here in a second. And then from there, I would create content around bigger topics. So if you're talking about how to kickflip, I would talk about skateboarding tips or skateboarding tricks, because that's a bigger universe of conversations happening. So, billions of views are happening every week on YouTube, and a lot of those views, I'd say about 40 to 60% of those views are people looking for something. They're looking for skateboarding tricks, or they're looking for, they're looking for the type of content that you could give them. So being someone that gives the answers to questions being asked is the easiest way to get started with video. If you're creating content that people's already looking for, and if you didn't make that content, they wouldn't be part of, you wouldn't be part of the conversation that's already happening, right? So this is why I would make this type of content first. You're going to make 3 or 4 types of content. You're going to make the viral style content. You're going to make tons of types of content. But this is the easiest way to get started, in my opinion. Make sure you're publishing same time and day every week. Publish at least 1 video a week. It's very important. This is not a platform that if you go away in 6 weeks, you're going to have your audience is just going to be awesome and ready to go again. It's something that consistently has to happen. Make sure that you don't make a video and then put that video to YouTube or Facebook or Instagram. They're completely different platforms. For example, and by the way, I'm going to make fun of Facebook real quick. 3 seconds is not a view, so they count 3 seconds a view. So if you're making a video on Facebook, guess what? Most people are never going to listen to the audio because they have to click on the video to hear the audio, right? So you need to have text around what's happening to have context of the video. A lot of the Tasty Made BuzzFeed style videos actually have text, and most of the time, people are not clicking on that video to listen to it. So more than not, people are not even listening to Facebook videos at all. So if you created a video and you put that video on Facebook and Instagram and YouTube without the considerations of the actual platform, completely different people are on Instagram versus YouTube versus, completely different people. So you have to design, when you're in your video shoot, you have to think about that. You have to say, okay, I'm going to shoot this part for Instagram, this part for YouTube. And you do, it is a little complex, but you do have to think around how to do this. Or just do it all in post-production and don't worry about it. Just understand the considerations. So out of the about 700 million views we have for our customers, about 85% of those are organic, no paid advertising at all. And this is how I've done it. So I want to give you a little bit of advice on how to do all this stuff. The titles, tags, descriptions, thumbnails, playlists, those are really where it's at. That's the first thing you can do is you can actually go to the YouTube search box and you can start typing something around your category or your business model, right? In this particular case, I typed in Barbie, and then do you see how it autofilled? Well, based on a lot of research we've done, it's actually the very first result is the best. So that means it has the most search intent. So if you're autofilling and you're finding these, whatever's the highest up on this list means it has the most intent of search. So you can actually find, based on these populated results, what people are actually searching for. So even if you made a lifestyle type of content, you would at least want to optimize it around what people's actually searching for. The only thing is, a dog can't be a cat, so you have to make sure, you can't stuff keywords in there. You have to make sure you're making content around what people are actually looking for. And if you do stuff keywords into a video that's not about the thing you're talking about, then you will lose big, because the #1 ranking algorithm on YouTube specifically is view, duration, session time, things like that. So how long someone watches your video is very important. To get more nerdy in keyword research, one of the things I do is I actually look at the AdWords Planner tool. By the way, I have a free course on this if you guys want to go. The URL's at the bottom. So there's a completely free course that gets really deep into this, so you don't have to write all this down. But I use the Google Keyword Planner tool, and I start figuring out what people are looking for. Now, what you may understand is if I'm going into Google to understand what people are looking for on YouTube, how silly am I, right? Because if I type in ice cream near, on my cell phone, I'm going to get an ice cream parlor near me. But if I type that on YouTube, I'm going to get some weird Play-Doh toy, where I'm going to get a recipe about ice cream. So the intent of search on Google.com versus YouTube is completely different. So what I do is I take this information that I learned about Google.com and I drop this YouTube search box into Google Trends. Again, I've got a free course, you don't have to remember all this. And then I actually see the intent of search specifically on YouTube. So I'm taking that data and I'm converting it to YouTube. What's really cool about that is it then gives me the related searches by order of importance. It also shows me rising and breakouts. So it shows me what's trending, so you can get ahead of words that you may need to rank for. So here's a really good example of thinking big on your content. One of my clients is Funimation. We help them become the largest anime channel on YouTube with over 400 million views. Not bragging or anything, but it's cool. And if you notice, most of you have never heard of Lord Marksman and whatever that says, right? Like, that's just a weird show. But guess what? What's bigger than this anime show? The word full anime episode, which is one of the biggest words in the industry searched on YouTube. So what I was able to do is I was able to think bigger than the show. And by the way, what happens if they lose the rights to do distribution on this show? You know, do they lose 10 million views a month? Well, not if you think bigger. And that's one thing, when my title earlier was like skateboard tricks, how to ollie, you know, this is kind of the philosophy I'm trying to teach you guys. So we're ranking #1 for full anime episode. This is a full anime episode, by the way, so we're not, a dog's not a cat, right? It is what we're talking about. But we break things down into the bigger category. Another thing I want to show you here is look at the thumbnail. Do you notice how popped out our thumbnail is compared to the 2 ads above us? We destroy the competition on our thumbnails for a lot of reasons. The biggest is the color pop. The brand color and the logo makes it just look legit and official. So we were able to actually get Funimation 7 million more organic views a year just literally by making good thumbnails. That's it. The #1 way people find most of our customers' videos is not anything to do with search at all. It's the suggested video views on the right-hand side. So you got to really think about that. It's kind of like a billboard. Your videos, thumbnails, need to pop more than your competitors. They need to have more action, more color, more pop, and the title needs to match what the actual, you know, thumbnail looks like. Also, it has to be a still from the actual image, because if you try to make it something else, it's not going to match what people think they're going to get, and they're going to put it off your video, and you're going to do really, really bad on YouTube. So, out of some hands, who thinks that test 1 did the best in this multivariate test? No one? All right, how about 2? Someone's playing with me. Oh, we got one. Test 3? And 4. So every single thing we do multivariate testing and nerd stuff, so we don't guess ever. We know exactly what's going to work the best. In this particular case, test 2 worked best. I don't know if it was just a America theme or the fact that, you know, she looks like Home Alone. I don't know what's going on there. But that's why we never guess what's going to work. We always test. I would have picked test #1 because eyes are the window to your soul, and eyes are extremely important. If you notice, even on anime, eyes change everything. It makes such a huge difference because you have a subconscious connection to eyes. Here's an example of thumbnails we did for HP recently. So you can see, it just kind of looks like the official, and we got a 40% boost in organic traffic for this channel for HP just by making these thumbnails, not touching anything else. And for a company that big, that's pretty insane. So imagine what it could do for you guys. From a video distribution perspective, think about this. Most of us make a video, and then we upload it, and then we forget about it, and then we do other stuff, and then we come back and we have 6 views, right? That's pretty much how it works for, especially all you entrepreneurs that have too many things to do. But if you have, like 80% of the time, I recommend you make videos that are just about your business, about your products, or how to help someone, how-to videos, why-to videos. 80% of the time I would do things like that to start fostering a community. That 10 to 20% of the time when you're doing, like if you're in skateboarding, you know, your company's launching a skateboard video or a surf video or a lifestyle brand video or an episode. When you're doing those really cool, hard things, I would get at least 100 to 200 different people. I would send them an email, call them on the phone, and talk to them about what you're doing. Reddit is by far one of the best places to launch a YouTube video. And one little trick I learned a few years ago, which is pretty funny, is I send magazines similar, you know, to my content, and I literally send them an email. I'm like, hey Bob, just to let you know, we love what you do, your online magazine, And you actually have permission at any time to embed any of our YouTube videos on your blogs. You don't even have to ask us permission. And believe it or not, it sounds crazy. I mean, they didn't need my permission to embed my YouTube video on their blog, right? Like, they could do it that anytime. But you would be surprised how many millions of views I've got for our customers just by letting people know, hey, we have content that works for your magazine, and we're willing to work with you. Millions and millions and millions of views just by asking. So one video we did last year was for a nonprofit for vets. We actually got on the homepage of Forbes magazine. Do you know how many rejections we got before we got that? 130. So 130 magazines and people rejected us or never even talked to us. And that one baby little magazine, I'm kidding, Forbes, they flew out. Like the next day they came up and we were on the home, that video was featured on the homepage. That one video triggered 600 other publishers to write about our video and embed it. So I would just say, be very hardcore and aggressive and just hustle. You know, the difference between my almost 700 million views for our customers and a lot of other people on YouTube that get a couple hundred views is really hustle. That's really what it comes down to. And not thinking every video has to be like the best video ever made in the world. For some reason, I guess, because entrepreneurs are hustlers, we get stuck into this rut that we only can make good content. What's weird about that rut is a lot of the companies I work with make amazing content that no one wants to see. Like beautiful shots of waves and, you know, seeing your store, gorgeous shots. Who cares? No one wants to see that, right? If there's a surfer on that wave or something happened, maybe. But you really have to think like the consumer and ask your consumers, what do you watch? You know, on Facebook or Instagram or YouTube, Snapchat, what do you see? What do you do? Building a community around those platforms is absolutely essential. For Funimation, we get 100,000 to 300,000 views just because we have 1.6 million subscribers. Like, we don't even have to try anymore. Literally. We could put up the worst video in the world and get 300,000 views. Because obviously that's not a good business plan moving forward. But because we've actually spent a lot of time fostering this community and building subscribers. So we absolutely believe that you have to, first off, figure out who could be your subscribers or your fans and live for them. If you're creating content around selling more stuff and that's your big focus, then guess what? You're not going to sell more stuff. But if you foster your community and build content that people want to see, odds are you're going to win way, way stronger. Way stronger. One of the brands I worked with, I'm not going to name their name, but they're a big razor company that you have to mortgage your house to buy new razor blades from. They absolutely destroyed a competitor. I don't know if you guys have ever seen the Dollar Shave Club commercial. We destroyed them. What's funny about that is no one will ever know that, right? Besides me telling you right now. And they had the coolest viral video, 20 million views. So awesome. The 300 how-to videos, how to shave. This video ranks #1 in the world for how to shave, for about 300 different shaving things, from heads to chest to whatever. That got almost 60 million views. So 3 times more views than this viral video, and it never made the news once. So we were able to generate hundreds of millions of more dollars in actual realized revenue, and 0 buzz. But you know, what was the purpose? So I guess what I'm trying to say is, don't get stuck in the hype of like, what are you actually trying to achieve? I'm advising a friend of mine's skate company right now, And all he wants to do is take 6 months to make a video that releases a part for this really great skate team. And I'm like, in 6 months, you can have like 3 million views on teaching people how to skateboard. You know, like if you do 200 or 300 videos instead of one big one, odds are, again, winning the lottery is not a business plan, you're going to do 10 times better. So, let's see. Advertising, especially on Snapchat, Facebook, and YouTube, is insane. I don't know, how many people do ads at all now? Are we mostly using Google.com? Anyone do video ads? So on video, on Facebook, sometimes Snapchat, Instagram, and YouTube, you can get between 1 and 10 cent views. On Google, a lot of our customers are spending up to $6 to $10 per click. So if you can get one view for 1 cent, and you're paying $2.38 per click on Google, and by the way, it's not a text ad, it's an actual video story that can actually move someone emotionally to your next step of your funnel, going to a website or doing whatever you want them to do. What we found for our customers is it's way more effective, 40 to 60% more effective, and about 80% less cost to do video ads. Pretty crazy, right? So I would highly advise testing video ads. It's all about let me get nerdy, you can get my card, I can talk to you through this. It's all about remarketing, and it's all about finding your audience. The cool thing about not being on TV anymore is you actually know who your audience should be. Over like 50% of traditional television ads don't even ever reach the right audience. It's pretty funny. All right, does anyone have any questions at all? Amy?
When you tested the different variations of the video, did you test them on the same channel?
I did. And what I did is I actually duplicated the video 4 times, made it private or unlisted rather, and I had to change the length of the videos because it was duplicate content if you just make them the same. So I one 30 seconds, one 20 seconds. And then I used AdWords, and as in-display ads, I can send you all this if you want. I used AdWords, and then basically I just tested the view-through rate. So basically when people click on it, that means a success, right? Because we're trying to get more people to click on the suggested video views on the right-hand side. Okay.
How do you split test in Facebook advertising?
So the question was, how do you split test in Facebook advertising?
Or how do you set up your advertising to see which if you get more results? With Facebook, you can post something, but it would show up as 2 posts in your original page, and it would have similar content. So my question to you would be, how do you set up split testing in Facebook or Instagram?
So what I would do is I would actually in Facebook, because I would not post those on I wouldn't boost the post. I wouldn't actually make it a boosted post. I would actually go to the Facebook Ads Manager, and I would actually make 2 to 5 different ads that will never show up on my actual channel. You see what I'm saying? And then we launch those at the exact same time. Typically, I like to do 7 days for 24 hours a day, and then I have all the data to see. It may only be $10 a day per ad or less. We don't have to spend a lot of money, but we just need enough data. Also, not doing it 7 days. Wednesday is going to be a whole lot different than Tuesday. There's just different people on at different times, so you need that whole 7-day cycle. I do the same thing on Instagram, Facebook, YouTube. And if you have a particular, we do about 10 different ways to do multivariate testing, so it gets real nerdy real quick, and the tools suck right now in general, so we're kind of just figuring it out and making stuff up. But it's a good barometer, and it does work. Hey.
In your opinion, what's the clothing brand equivalent to the skateboard trick tips title that you'll put on the video?
For a clothing brand?
For a clothing brand, what would be the equivalent?
So tell me about the clothing brand a little bit. What's your audience?
Well, between 15 and about 35, men and women.
Okay. And is there a particular genre of skating? Is it like
It's
street
not skateboards, it's more apparel.
apparel? Is it associated with any type of sport or?
More like community service.
Cool.
More like community service, like giving back.
Cool. That's awesome. Actually, if you were to work with a 501c, there's tons of free money on YouTube I can help you get. Tons. Like they have a whole program. It's awesome. There's tons of things you can even, yeah. So anyways, I would have to think about it and you know, obviously give you a better answer, but the first thing I would do is I would figure out the words you guys use to tell people what you do, you know what I'm saying? And then I would go into YouTube search box and I would start typing in all those combination of words and see what people are using the most of. And maybe it's something like give back clothing and then the name of the video and then your brand name. You know what I'm saying? Like, obviously, I'm probably 80% right already without even looking. But you see what I'm saying? Like, we'd have to figure out what people are actually searching for, create a playlist and have that in a lot of your video titles. That's called the hub effect, by the way. And essentially, instead of making one video about how to a kickflip, I'd make 100 videos on kickflips. Every variation under the sun. Maybe 100 is too much, but you get what I'm saying. So instead of having a video about a kickflip, I'm a perceived thought leader of kickflips with 100 videos and 20 playlists. That's just going to give you a lot more power to actually rank and show up. Hey.
With your thumbnail focus groups, like how many people do you generally show that to? Do you guys make a decision?
Typically, it's all advertising. It's not necessarily a focus group, but it's the same concept. Typically, with a big brand, with like HP for example, we spent $3,000 or $4,000, about 1 to 3 cent views. So a lot of people. I can't do that math on my head. You know, 3 cents times whatever. But you could get away with probably spending a few $100s easily to understand how you think. Again, I would be it's not exact science, but it's a barometer. You know, one thumbnail is going to be 47% more views than another. That's a huge tick in the right direction. Anybody else? Okay.
Are there ways that you source information from your prospective clients to see what type of video content you should make? Are there methods you use?
So the question is, are there ways to actually figure out from the client how to, you know, what kind of content they want? Or so the biggest thing we do at my company is we actually deprogram our customers to not do the videos they want to do. We let them do the videos they're doing for a while. And then we teach them and show them success on doing videos another way, because typically what happens is everyone wants to show pretty stuff, but that no one wants to see pretty stuff, right? Unless you're doing like swimsuits, and then there's other reasons why people want to see that, right? So what we do, and it's fun, it's a nice little dance. We let them have their fun, and we show our little stuff. And then, you know, 10, 20, 50 million views later, like, hey, we need to do more of your stuff. And then the stuff they're doing that didn't work kind of dies out. Honestly, that's just how it's been working. And we're kind of the data research science nerds, so it is our job to pull all the information we can out of our customers and fully understand their business. I kind of feel like I'm in a lot of businesses. You know, like I'm a master at razors and a master, a master at all kinds of weird stuff. Anime. You know, anime is like a big part of our business. We work with a lot of animation companies. So movie companies, it's weird, but you have to have dedicated resources to really understand the business. That's why business owners are the best people to do this work, because they get who they are and who they need to be. Any more questions? I gotta get out of here in a second.
What's your marketing research process?
What is my marketing research process? Man, I could talk about that for like 7 years. But I actually do have, on my website, I actually do have the laser process is what I call it. and I don't even remember what it means right now. Listen. Anyways, if you go to vidpal.com, on the homepage, you can see it. It's called the laser process. All right. Thanks, guys. Appreciate it.
No way, I have permission. No, I didn't. I couldn't think of anything to say.
All right, with that, you guys completed an entire day of the workshop, so thanks so much for coming out. Again, as I said, thanks for the round of applause. We're going to send out some more information following up after this, so if you guys have any questions, feel free to always email us at info@agendashow.com.
3:30.
And hopefully we're going to see you guys here at the next show in January, and hopefully we'll see you actually on the show floor and you guys succeeding. So thanks again, appreciate it.